Fuck. Okay. Perfect timing. Okay, Charles, hold on. She's got to bark at him for a second. Give me a second.
Okay, I understand.
Get it out. Get it out, Charles.
It's the same guy I see all the time. I like him, but I like to bark at him.
Yeah, get it out. Get it out. Okay, Charles, come here. Come here. Come here.
No,
How are you doing, man?
I'm fine, man. How are you holding up?
I'm good. I'm gonna put her upstairs.
Okay.
Just problem.
All right.
She just maybe.
Maybe she's calming down now.
Yeah. Okay. Hold on. Give me a second, baby. Sorry.
All right.
Guess we should have done that. So non-professional of me. Okay.
There's no such thing. There's no barometer anymore. You know what I mean? We're just winging it. Every day is like, I don't know how it is for you, but every day I go, it's just Sunday again, right? Is it just Sunday?
Yeah.
It's weird.
Oh, you know, it's given me, I got a really nice gift when I got sober.
Yeah.
It was like through martial arts.
You just froze. You said when you got sober, you got a really nice gift when you got sober, and then you froze. So start again there.
Yeah, I got a really nice gift when I got sober at 30, and it was through martial arts.
Yeah.
And it was kind of re-examining myself, and through some of it was through intense physical working out and conditioning, and a lot of it was through meditation and going to a place where I could be still and really examine, you know, how I got myself to that place, and what's my way out.
Yeah.
And it really, like, after like 2 years, I really like kind of lived like a monk for a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
And the band, this is 94, 95, the band wasn't doing much. There was things going on, and I had to like just shut out all the noise, like throw out my little, remember our phone books, the little black book?
Yeah.
That had no good numbers in it.
Gotcha.
There was nobody good in there.
Yeah.
So by throwing away that phone book, I got rid of
toxicity.
It was gone. Like I had no phone numbers to call back then, you know,
yeah.
Except for my best friends I grew up with. And I started reading, and I was doing martial arts twice a day, riding my mountain bike, and just really finding out who I was. And I found this super inner peace, and it started like when I started to get out into like socializing again or whatever. People noticed like a difference that I didn't notice.
Yeah.
And I knew it was probably, you know, when you do that much kind of inner work, that you've been honest with yourself, and you've made your own bed, you know, literally, and washed your dishes and cleaned your house and cleaned yourself up and started taking care of yourself, and then you can take care of others. And then I met Susan, and I was ready after 2 years. I knew I wasn't ready to meet anybody.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't know if I could. I thought I had a big like L on my forehead. But I think and I continue to train to this day in martial arts. And I realized like all the training that I've done of being still and being of service to others.
Yeah.
To yourself first. You can't do it without being service to yourself first. And then I really can be of service to my family right now.
Yeah.
And be still and be peaceful. And it's, you know, it's that old like punk rock PMA, positive mental attitude.
But so you're finding that the work that you've done all those years is particularly serving you now in a comforting way for not only yourself but for other people, as opposed to some people who have been sober, who are probably struggling in a way right now that it seems like you're not.
Yeah, the sobriety. I mean, so I talk about sobriety. I mentioned that for a second, you know, because I didn't get sober through AA. I've gone to AA since, for sure. Yeah. But I didn't discover AA until like 10 years into being sober.
Right.
So my sobriety was through kind of the same steps, really, but in a much more like physical and much more internal. You couldn't get to the internal until you like exhausted the external, especially in the first couple of years. And it was, you know, my sensei there was a plan. It wasn't, nobody was winging it there.
Right.
And I was a special case, I think, for him. Like, I wonder if he was fighting like champion fighter. He was training champion fighters.
Right.
And then I was like a specimen that came in. It's like, I wonder, a project, probably.
Right.
But it worked, and it's especially serving. I realize all the training I've done is working in a time like now.
Right. So you don't feel anxious.
I choose to examine that anxiety and kind of put it over to the side. Recognize it. You got to recognize these things, not ignore them. You know.
Right. You need to
recognize alcoholism and drug addiction.
Right.
I do every morning. You know, say, hey, you're there. I put it in a little box and I shove it away. And you got to recognize it. You can't ignore these things. But I put it in its place and don't let it overwhelm. Don't let it out of its box. And we've been, you know, dude, I've been traveling and touring so much, and those things you want, like those times. Touring is not a 9-to-5 job, and rehearsing is not a 9-to-5 for the way we rehearse.
Right.
You know, it's insane, and it's great. So the way Slash and I have always rehearsed the band, you know, it's 6 days a week. You have those, now we have in-ears in, you know, you have those in-ears in as long as you can, maybe 8 hours or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you go out on the road, and that's a 24-hour a day thing. You're gone, you're moving, you're grooving, you're training every day, which I do still, and you're sound checking, you're gigging, you're in a car going somewhere really fast after a show and eating in the car, like, and I'm not complaining, but at all. That's not the point. It's that you're away from your family.
Yeah. And
you know, those times when you're in.
It's also a discipline. You know, a lot of people I don't think understand. I mean, yeah, there certainly, I'm sure there were times for you, there were times for me, and times for a lot of people who chose music as a career, where it is partying and it's fun and you're a little like you're, especially when you're young and you feel invincible and you feel like no matter how fucked up you get, you're still going to have a great show. But then there comes a point where the discipline is the definition of whether you're going to continue to be able to do this or not.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. And that's exactly right. It's certainly discipline, and it's a 24-hour a day discipline, you know, especially, you know, we're playing long shows and we're in our mid 50s now. So you have to, your body, you have to be like, I'm trying to find, like, you know, what is like whenever they say on TV you got busted for performance enhancing drugs, and I'm like, what are they?
Send me some.
What are they? Yeah. But
we're the same age. You're a little younger than me, a few months younger than me.
56.
But I'm 56. And I when people ask me, and I'm sure you get this a lot too, I've found that my not only my voice, but my overall
there we go.
Oh,
there we go.
My overall stamina and physicality of not even the shows as much as just what you described. The constant travel, the constantly being in and out of planes and airports and cars, and like when Daisy comes and she's with me on the road a lot, she'll go, I don't understand. I'm just hanging out with you and I'm tired, and you're not tired. But I used to be tired when I was in my 20s, before I was disciplined and before I took it seriously enough to realize that for me to do my job really well, I need to be in shape and I need to be like disciplined. And I'm finding that I'm able to do my job much more effectively. I can't remember. I've canceled one show in the last 7 years just because I got a throat thing and my voice was fucked. I probably could have done the show, but I didn't want to cheat people out of, like, I want people to hear me sing well. So I canceled one show, but I don't get sick. And I sort of like, and I don't even really get tired. And I think that it's because of what you were describing, because there comes a point with maturity where you realize that, first of all, we're so fucking blessed to be able to do this.
Yeah.
We get to do this. Most people have to do what they do. We get to do what we do. And
I have to do it though too, you know, in another way. Like,
yeah. No, I don't mean it that way. I mean, like,
but like that since I was 13.
Most people are like, I have to go to this fucking job.
Yeah.
We have to do it because it's like, it's harrowing for us. It's like, I can't, the idea of not playing or not singing or not writing or whatever, I can't imagine. But we're so fortunate that what we do, we would do anyway. We would love to do it no matter what.
Right. I think also, you know, you're talking about the tiredness on the road or not tired. You're not tired. You also get on that
Shit.
For you know, it's you know, it's however many months long. I don't even count the gigs. I will not do that.
Right.
You know, because I want, number one, every gig is a special thing, and I feel honored to play for. I really have gotten into this place where, like, there is 50,000 individual stories out there, and 99% of them are probably a lot more interesting than my story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you think you're the most interesting person in the room, you're inevitably probably fucking wrong.
You're in the wrong room.
Or you're in the wrong room too, right? But you steel yourself for a tour, and you're on this like higher plane where you can't get tired. You
Right.
can't recognize that ache that's, you know, starting in your hip and radiating down your leg. You can't do that.
Right.
You can't. You know, somebody said, we were on that first tour we did, which was 3 years. Somebody made the mistake, 5 gigs left.
Oh.
And I'm like, no. Don't do that. And at the end of that specific tour, that was, what was that? 2016 through 2019. So it was December of 19. We ended up that tour playing, you know, I don't know, Staples and the Forum. We played multiple nights. And the last show, we played the longest show at the Forum ever and we beat our own record and Led Zeppelin's record and played nearly 4 hours, right?
Yeah.
And it was, and everybody stayed, you know?
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. And I got home to LA, right? And I stayed in bed that time for 5 days.
Yeah.
So my point to all of this is I was probably supposed to be in, let's see, tonight, maybe, let's say, Buenos Aires.
Yeah. We
had a South American tour that we postponed now to November, December.
Yeah.
And I always miss my wife and my kids, you know, and that's a thing that we as musicians, we deal with. That's part of the life.
Yeah.
And you try to get them out, or you try to come home for some kid's birthday, you know, fly home for 24 hours and do that and make it seem, especially when the kids were younger, like, make it seem like I'm not gone.
Right.
You know, I'd fly home like some fucked up middle seat flight, you know, at 6 a.m. That's what you do. And you
know that you'll do whatever. I used to do the same thing. And you know, my kids are grown now. My sons are grown, but people don't really understand when you do what we do. And again, I'm not complaining, but when you have a great relationship with your kids and you go to work and they cry, it just ripped me up. It just fucked me up so bad. But they got to the point where they not only understood it, they saw how happy I was doing what I do, and they really understood it. And I took them on the road with me enough so that they could imagine it, they could picture it in their heads when they were home,
Yeah.
school and stuff. And then guess what? All three of my sons are musicians. So
I have, you know, they do. They get to that point where they respect this is, it's not funny. It's like, this is work. Like, this is a serious thing. And so now I'm home.
Yeah.
I'm not touring. We're trying to take care of our crew. That's the first most important thing right now.
Yeah.
Take care of people that are on our payroll, that suddenly everything got, you know, the rug got ripped out from, like in our industry, you know, that goes, we have 80 people, we have truck driver, people drive trucks.
The level that you guys are on still after all these years, the amount of people just within your own organization, and what people are they're not thinking about that. They're thinking, oh, Guns N' Roses is like their tours postponed. All of these employees and all these people and their families,
and the hotels and
mention the promoters and the promoters' families and the venues and the owners and the people that work at the venues, and like this is like exponentially so many people, just your tour alone.
The people that park cars there, the people that sell concessions at every gig, and you know.
Yeah.
So it's in the hotels and the service and all of that and all the fans that are coming in and the hotels and you know, all of that.
Sure.
The travel and the fans go and eat in restaurants locally. It brings local economy, you know, it brings an economy to some place, you know.
Of course.
That's now missing or postponed. And then, you know, closer to us is our crew. And so we pay a buttload of money for insurance. So we're trying to figure out a way to get the hard costs sorted.
Yeah.
But I'm home now. So back to our original point of being still and being positive. I got my wish, you know, which is not in the worst of way, in the worst of circumstances, but we're doing, you know, you and I right now, and everybody hopefully listening that's staying at home.
Yeah.
We're doing we're doing, this is our part.
Yeah, this
is our part in doing this.
This is clearly, without question, what we fucking need to be doing. And
no question.
Are fucking up for everyone else.
Susan and I made we walked to the grocery store last, I think it was Friday, with backpacks, and we had gloves, and we had we didn't have any masks because you can't find any masks. So we fashioned some stuff, and we went and waited in the line, you know, and it was very surreal. Like, we decided, you know, let's walk and do this and get in the line, and it was about an hour, you know, and this is new for everybody. Everybody's 6 or 8 feet apart. They need the receipt when you're leaving. You know, this is in LA. Yeah. I'm in LA proper.
Yeah.
I'm like, receipt why you're leaving the grocery store, and people are stealing because people are getting desperate here in the Valley. You know, okay, I got it. This is a first. Everything's a first. That's probably our last trip. We felt walking back, maybe that was irresponsible of us to go to the store. We wore gloves and we did the stuff but I think we're at that point. There was a sign as we got to, like, you can order and go pick up your groceries. Like, okay, I think we'll do that.
Right.
We don't want to like employ somebody to go to the store for us and get them sick. You know?
Right.
That's irresponsible as well.
And but the other problem, dude, is that, and this is the thing that I think is frustrating all of us, is that this thing seems to be this moving target. Every day, it seems there's new information. We're like, okay, well, maybe just the 6 feet apart thing is not enough. Or maybe now everybody needs to be wearing a mask all the time when you're outside of your house. Or now you have to like, maybe you should be wiping down all your door handles every day. And you should be, what about cleaning your phones? And it's just the information has trickled out. And I understand, I don't blame, this is one place where I don't blame anybody, because this thing is evolving in a way that is puzzling, I'm sure, to the people that I trust to be helping us deal with it. But how that manifests into daily activity for us and you and everyone is what I think is creating the most anxiety, which is that we don't, like, just when we get settled into like, okay, if we just do this, and this, everything will be cool. And then a couple days later, it's like, yeah, you can still do this, and this, now you can't do that. And you're like, but I fucking did that 3 times already, right?
Yeah. Yeah, the cardboard boxes that are coming with the, yeah. Don't touch those. Okay, well, we've touched a ton of them already.
Exactly.
You know, now we have, you know, what about, we've got, what is the stuff we're ordering? We're not ordering, we didn't go binge shop. We didn't do the, you know, we're not that type of people. We're like a freak out. Like, you got to leave enough for others.
Yeah. Get what you need. Get what you need. You know, like, and there's no, so far now, there's the shortages that we experience. I actually don't know if there's still a shortage of toilet paper, but the shortages of things that everybody was panicked about. I think there's plenty to go around, as long as people aren't assholes.
I heard a thing on NPR, so it was about 2 weeks ago, and it was whatever, a factory where that makes paper goods. So they have the same factory makes toilet paper and paper towels and napkins or whatever. They switch over the dye, whatever, and then they roll the toilet paper, and then they switch to paper towels. Yep. And they now have gone to 3 8-hour shifts. They're 24 hours a day. They said, we're doing great. We're doing killer business right now.
Yeah.
There's plenty of paper products, and always will, for, like, you know, 100 times over America's population.
Yeah.
We're doing great now. What's going to happen in 6 months when this is over? We're going to have to just hold on. We're going to have to lay off employees, because everybody's going to have toilet paper for like the next 4 years. They're not going to be shopping.
Right.
You know.
Right.
So to answer your question, I guess there is, and yeah, there's plenty.
The repercussions like that you think about like that, like I didn't think about that, and you probably wouldn't have thought about it had you not heard that.
No, of course not.
It's just, how are you? Is this affecting you creatively at all? Like, is it? I'm not inspired musically right now at all.
You're not inspired?
No.
Well, yeah, that's the discipline part of me. That's the martial. I've been working out every day. I do.
Well, you're insane. Like, you are like what everybody wishes. You're in the shape that everybody wishes they were in, and you have been for a long time. So I envy that. But, and I get that you're at a point, you've been at a point, I don't even know you that well. This, by the way, this is hilarious. Every time we run into each other, we're like, we gotta hang out. Well,
I know. No.
But I would imagine that discipline is just like the same it would be for you no matter what was going on.
I have to do that. That's where I can get to I also, when I work out hard, and I do that because it gets me to my place where I can be of service to others, you know? Yeah. And I can do that without working out. I don't need it. It isn't like heroin. I can discipline myself not to work out and still be cool, you know? But it does, this give me a chance. There's all kinds of videos on YouTube that I do and stuff. Like, my daughters are here, right? And they're doing like getting ready for the wedding abs. You know, they're not near them getting married, but I'm like, okay, what is this?
Right.
You want to do this, Dad? I don't know, getting ready for the wedding abs. I'm a macho guy. Yeah, sure. It's by the way, Richard, it's not how you look in your dress. It's how you feel in your dress.
That's right.
It's just a side point there. But I did this like abs workout with one of my daughters, and it tore me a new one.
Kicked your ass.
It kicked my ass.
Yeah.
And she's talking the whole time. This woman is doing it, young woman. And just all these nice things, and oh, it's just gonna be great, the wedding. At the end, you're just like, shut up. But for doing these videos, I've been trying to keep. I have a guy, Jordan, who I train with to get ready for tours and stuff. He trains like basketball players, and he's a great dude. And I've got a bulging. You know, I've got injuries from the road. You know, so we do all this stuff to fix it. And so trainers, you know, and all these people so we're doing FaceTime sessions, and because it's in a box like this, they're kind of more like jailhouse workouts to just right here. It's just a lot of push-ups, a lot of shit, band work and stuff. But I'm at least communicating with with Jordan and keeping him working, you know, and
we've been relying mostly on videos. And speaking of macho guy, and again, you know, take this at face value, but one thing that has been around for a long time, and my wife has been really into for years, is Pilates. And for whatever reason, every time she would say, you know, you should come to Pilates with me sometime, and I'd be like, oh my God, I do Pilates. Like I do weights and I do like hikes and like dude stuff. I'm not gonna do Pilates. She finally convinced me to go to Pilates a couple months ago, and first of all, it kicked my ass so hard, but I got really, really into it and kind of addicted to going with her and that workout. And the way I saw changes in my body, Pilates, that I could be doing other shit for months and months and not see the results. And Pilates is
super hard.
It's really hard. It's really hard. And that's been a drag because I was really just starting to get into it. And that's not really something you can do this way. Yeah.
Right. You guys don't have one of those Pilates things, but what are they called?
Reformers.
Right.
Yeah. But it's good. For future reference, when the smoke
I know.
Try Pilates.
That's one of those things, you know. I mean, kickboxing is all about form and perfect form, and I learned a lot about it. It's not unlike ballet or something. You know, some things like just like side kicking into thin air with just nothing there, you know, and standing on one leg and picking your leg up and side kicking and down, and do 100 of those in the thin air.
Incredible.
It's perfect, you know, perfect everything with their hands up, and I've learned and I started watching, like my sensei would say, you know, watch the ballet, watch the thing, watch their form, it's all about form, it's all about precision, and your body starts to do other things because it has to straighten up in your spine. So I know Pilates is kind of a lot of the same perfect form, right?
Yeah. And we've also trained off and on for the last year and a half, 2 years with a boxing trainer who was a Muay Thai champion. And he was born with one arm. And he's the most incredible trainer, wonderful guy. And
who is it? Is somebody I would know?
Yeah, well, I don't know. His name is Baxter Humby, and you can look. He's got videos out when he was a champion, and he's in his 40s. He's obviously retired, but he trains, and he's trained Sugar Ray Leonard, his wife, and actually trained Sugar Ray still sometimes just to keep, you know, because Sugar Ray's in his 60s and he's still in great shape and such a cool guy. Yeah. So I've been friendly with him for years, and Sugar Ray recommended Baxter to me. And when Baxter showed up with one arm, I was like, this is interesting. And we fell in love with it. I mean, we started to have some injuries from it, so we had to like back off of it a little bit, but it's
like shoulders?
Shoulder and like for me, hands, which I don't know if you know.
I wrap, you've got to wrap properly.
Yeah, I thought I was, but it's such a great workout, and I would be drenched with sweat every time. And
boxing training is amazing. Yeah.
So that's what you're doing.
I have a bag. You know, I just got one of those bags where you fill up with water at the bottom. I have it in my backyard. We're in LA. We started our South American tour. You're right. Just when things were starting to get
weird.
Remember how quickly things changed?
Yeah,
in a matter of 24 hours.
I was headed to Europe the day after. I was supposed to go to Europe the day it all kind of broke loose. Like, this is fucked up. So we shelved it for the whole European tour until later in the year. But you guys were already out there starting the tour.
Yes, we played Mexico City. I think in Mexico there was 3 cases. This was now 2.5 weeks ago or something. And but like the day we played, the promoter, like, what the fuck are we doing? The rest of America's starting to break. Seattle, where we live, that's home.
Yeah,
that was
the whole
patient number 1 almost, in America. Good news about Seattle is, I mean, if it's going to hit any place, Seattle, the most research, medical research, there were time. I think probably Houston, Seattle.
Yeah.
If you're going to get cancer or something, be in Seattle. If you're going to get sick, be in Seattle.
Right.
So there's hospitals and research, medical research up there's something else. So the curve in Seattle flattened a couple days ago.
Mm-hmm.
We have a great mayor, a great governor up there, and they not to get into the politics, but I voted for this mayor, and she the curve now they're getting less. So it's flattened over the weekend, and now it's starting to come down the other side, which is amazing news.
Great.
Amazing news.
That's
so maybe we can
nationally. Now we got to wait for it to catch on in New York City. Jeez, oh man, and LA.
LA, yeah. My daughter made it home from New York. She's in college there. She came home March 11th, and just maybe one of the last kind of quote unquote safe days for my daughter. If I'm the parent, I'm her dad. I wouldn't have probably let her travel after that.
Yeah.
But so March 11th. But it's crazy to see. I'm a science-based person, and our species has gone through all kinds of crazy, viruses and bacterial things, and many species have gone through this, not just human, but I read a lot of books. I'm a fucking nerd, man. So and some people are immune to things like this. It's very interesting. They're going to have very interesting data after this is all done.
What I'm fascinated about already is the little tidbits of information. Yes, there's some people who are immune to it, but I'm even more fascinated by the people who are more prone to it. And I'm not talking about just autoimmune deficiency, but male versus female, or your race, all kinds of factors that seem to be becoming part of the data that we will learn from.
Right.
I'm actually in a couple hours. I'm going to do one of these with my personal physician, who's been my doctor for 40 years, but he's also really, really good. And so he's got a lot of it. Like, I can't wait to talk to him just to hear what the latest is. He's really, really on the front lines right now. And he's texting me information every couple of days because we're pals, but we haven't had a real substantive conversation yet about it. So I wanted to do it so that other people can hear about it and learn.
That's amazing. So how can I see that?
As soon as I record it, I'll post it, but I'll just send you a link to the conversation with him so you can hear.
Okay.
Sure.
All right.
And
yes, I've been getting my information on this. So my nephew, I have a huge family, and the last 8 kids. So I think I have 29 nephews and nieces, and 14 great nephews and nieces. When Susan married me, she was 27, right?
Yeah.
We've been married since '99. And as soon as we got married, one of my smart ass, great nephews or nieces came and said, "Hi, great Auntie Susan." She's 27. She's like, "Oh, wait, I'm a great aunt?" Yep, you are. But one of my nephews works at Harbor View in Seattle, which is it's the USC, you know, it's where all the bad shit goes, and the huge hospital. He's worked there for 20 years, and you know, he's always washed, so it's a habit for him to wash up to his elbows.
Yeah.
You know, just go for dinner.
Sure.
You know.
Sure.
And so he's kept me abreast of this thing since February, since you know.
Pre-panic.
What's that?
Pre-panic.
Pre-panic. And, you know, he's worked this through the bird flu and the swine flu and Ebola. And we forget about, you know, man, I worked in 82 through 84. I worked in Seattle at a bakery, all gay men, 2 lesbian women, and me. And this is when this strange disease from toilet seats, or it's airborne, or it's from monkeys,
right,
or it's something, but you can get it going to the bathroom. Oh wait, we pinpointed it to a bathhouse in San Francisco. Oh wait, we don't know where the fuck this is coming from. And then they gave, do you remember this? It was called, I do, because I worked close, when you're working so close, all your workmates, you know, gay, straight, Puerto Rican, who gives a fuck? You're best friends with everybody you work with, you know?
Of course.
And, you know, then it was first called gay-related immune grids. Do you remember that?
No.
Yeah. The first name for it was GRIDS, gay-related immune deficiency syndrome. Then they realized it wasn't a gay disease, and they changed the name to AIDS. But if you look back, so it was so if there was internet and 24-hour-a-day cable news, this would have been a fucking panic, because at first it was, they thought you could get off the toilet seat, all this other stuff, and that you would die this miserable death with, you know. So so back to my nephew. I'm sorry, I went off the beaten track, didn't I?
No, it's okay.
But he's just been keeping me informed. He's giving tests now to, you know, to all the nurses and doctors there. That's kind of his job now. He went from being a translator, medical translator, to giving tests. And but he says, dude, this whole time, he's like, stay apart from people, stay with your family, have them stay apart from people, and wash your fucking hands.
Yeah.
Wash your hands, wash your hands. Don't touch anything. If you touch anything, wash your hands. If you can get gloves, great. Throw them the fuck out when you're done.
Yep.
Don't try to wash them, just throw them out. And he says, just like whenever. And I think I kind of already have, like, playing guitar and stuff. And I always kind of keep my hands clean, and goes back to the martial arts thing too, you know? Yeah. And I keep my, you know, you got to trim your nails.
Yeah.
So, you know, he's kept me kind of sane through this whole thing, and good information. He's on the front lines.
So important. Like, I'm going to send you, when we hang up, I'm going to send you a link in case you haven't seen it. Somebody sent me a link to an ER doc in Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
Now this is already 3 days old, I think, but it's a long video. But what else do we have to do? And I think you'll really you'll dig it, because Daisy and I just sat and watched the whole thing, and he answered so many questions, and there was something comforting about listening to a guy who's going into the hospital every day and dealing with it and seeing what he's seeing, and saying, listen, again, this is just as of today, everybody. Mm-hmm. Right now, here's what we know, and here's what you can do, and here's what you cannot do. And it's like we need people like that to just keep spelling it out for us to make us feel better. So I'll send you the link.
I'd like to see that. I'd like to see that.
Yeah. In the meantime, man, just, you know, in the first 15 minutes of our talk, I think is what we need more of, which is that people we know, for example, especially people who are alone, who don't have, they're not living with someone, they don't have a boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, family with them. They're going through this alone. Those people, particularly that we know, are really freaking the fuck out. Understand?
I have some friends. Yeah, we have a buddy, and
hearing somebody like you talk about what your life history taught you about being present and being able to control the noise in your brain and being able to quiet your mind, especially in these kind of situations, is so helpful. So I'm, you know, aside from just wanting to see you, I'm glad we.
I wish I could give, like, I have like I should have had like a 10-minute, like, let's go through this together sort of thing, you know. But I have some. So I've had the four best friends that I grew up. We're still best friends. We grew up together. We went through everything. We've been through. I mean, there's been, you know, heroin. The four of us have been through all kinds of shit. You know. And we're all alive. And we're all still best friends. And when we're in Seattle, we go to, you know, dinner once a month, and we stay in touch, and we do, you know. But one of us four had moved a business. He started to Palm Desert, so he's by himself. And Palm Desert is also already kind of like.
Wait, I lost you. You froze up.
He was there in the summer, and he's like, "This is weird. This is weird." You lose me?
Yeah, I lost you.
I froze up.
Palm Desert is.
Yeah. Anyhow, he's alone.
Yeah.
He's alone right now, and he just broken up with he and a girlfriend had just broken up. So he's really he was really bumming about that, you know.
Yeah.
Am I freezing up?
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Yeah.
I got full bars.
Yeah, you're just stuttering, and now, hang on.
Oh, I do stutter.
Hang on. Why did it do that? There we go. Now you're back.
Okay. I don't know. But we have friends that are alone, and it's important to just keep in touch with those people, you know?
Yeah.
Right? Am I freezing up still?
No, you're better now.
I think, you know, as I'm sure you have some friends that are alone out there somewhere, and I do, and we all do.
Yep.
And keep in touch with them, you know?
So important. We've been telling everybody that.
What's going on?
Hang on.
You look at you getting phone calls during this pandemic.
I know.
Leading a normal life.
It's the popularity. Sorry.
There's nothing for our managers or agents to call us about right now, is there?
That was my manager. I swear to God. Yes, what you just said is so important, because it's been great for us to connect with people, certainly our close circle, our tribe, of course. And I talked today. I talked to my mom. My mom's 84, and she's totally fine, and she's in her apartment, and she's doing everything she's supposed to do, and we check in with her every day, and she's fine. But also just people who we just sort of have a casual hi, how you doing? It's been really great for us and for them to just be in touch. And every day I'm hearing from people, and people are hearing from me, who, you know, we don't normally stay in touch regularly, but it's really important. It's being connected to each other. Everybody being connected is crucial right now.
Right. I think it's very important to do that. And I've done this since about December of 2015. I've turned off the news, the cable news. We watch like local news in the morning, you know, wherever I'm at in the world. I watch the morning, you know.
Yeah.
But I've really, like, because I was going down some rabbit holes, man, that weren't. I recognized them as, first it was like a social experiment.
Yeah.
And then I realized, oh, you know, there was some darkness coming up around. I was going down a well,
Yeah.
And it's not healthy. We've seen, politics and presidents and administrations and stuff we've seen come and go. And I've read about, I'm a historian. I'm armchair goddamn fucking professor of history,
Mm-hmm.
and there's so many administrations throughout the history of our country that were, some were great, some were pretty fucked up, and there was things, I don't know if that's really, does it affect my day to day? Like, sometimes it does, sometimes it does, but man, if you don't let it, it really affects you a lot less.
It's also just, it's also, I think that there's one more thing I would add to that, which is that I find myself, I try to get my information, news / information, from as many different sources as possible. I try to hear all sides of what's going on, because I don't ever want to be myopic in my idea.
No, of course not.
So, but there's also just what you just referenced is important. I'll see something on social media, for example, or a quote or a video, whether it's Trump or somebody else, that will piss me off so much for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
I don't carry that shit around all day. Like my life is too good so that even if I comment on it, even if I am outraged about the thing itself, it's like I'm not sitting around like this all day long. It's like you have a momentary, it's almost like something that happens in your day that kind of like takes you off guard or pisses you off, and you go, fuck, that was fucked up. And then you're like, so what are we having for lunch?
Right. Yeah. And if you have the ability to do that, that's great. And I'm probably more down your same kind of thinking there.
Yeah.
You can't carry stuff with you, and I'm not immune to looking at social media. I follow your Twitter. That's kind of one of the reasons I have Twitter these days.
Yeah.
You're a I wouldn't want to get in your crosshairs. I'm telling you that. But yeah. But it's a good time right now to realize what, like, I wrote a whole record, this tenderness record, about kind of the motivations of,
such a great record, man.
well, instead of writing a third book, about my observations, I've been traveling for 35 years and getting, I know this country, and I know different parts, and I talk to people, and I know this world. I've been traveling around this fucking globe for so long, through the wall going down.
Yeah.
Through different things going on in other countries, and this country, and the Iraq War, and Chernobyl, and I could go down a whole list of things. And this divide, my mom taught me, I grew up like, you don't talk about politics, religion, or money, right? It's not polite conversation.
Right.
And we would never do that at the dinner table or the thing.
Absolutely.
I would hear her, when her and her brother would get hammered at night, they start arguing about politics, and they would get into it.
Yeah.
But polite society, like when I go around and go to people, we're not as divided as this great political tool right now is trying to use it as a hammer.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what's going on. So my message is, don't be fooled. We're together. We're much stronger and smarter than what anybody. I don't care, the current president or a president in the future or the president in the past. We're much smarter than this, and we're much more together. And I really believe that. And so the passing fancies and the stuff, that's going on right now, it will pass, and we will reflect on it.
It always does. I just, my heart is broken for every day I see the new cases, and we're really starting to see the faces of this virus now, more and more, and young kids dying, and it's just we don't know. there's no way of knowing how much worse it's going to get before the national flattening of the curve.
Yeah.
But if that is true, what you said about, you know, not just Seattle, but probably Washington State in general, that's incredibly
The
encouraging.
Puget Sound area. So that's, you know, in eastern Washington,
Yeah.
which is over the Cascade Mountains, the high desert and then the farms and stuff. It didn't hit. There's like a few cases in this county, a few cases in that county. It's not like the western side is way more populated of the state. So the Puget Sound area, which is Western Washington, the curve is, they're getting less cases coming into the hospital.
That's great. That's great.
So that is a little bit of really good news, I think. And I think if you just stay the fuck inside.
Yes. You wash your fucking hands.
And we can communicate like this. And Richard, hopefully you and I, you know, I don't know how many people are going to watch this, but stay the fuck inside, stay positive. I learned Sir Duke on the bass. That was my thing.
Nice.
Two Sundays ago, I'm like, I'm going to learn Sir Duke today.
Hence the hat.
What?
Is that reference to the hat, or is that a different Prince? Oh, I was thinking Stevie Wonder.
Wow. Stevie Wonder, yeah, Sir Duke.
I've been up way too long, man.
Well, what the hell were they thinking with that line? So I learned that, and I don't read music. So it took me, it takes me a while, and I never played in cover bands, and I never did this stuff. So,
what's next on the hit list?
What's that?
What's next on the hit list? Are you like, or was that just sort of was Sir Duke just a random thing? I want to learn that.
Mike from Green Day, a couple of years ago, because I was learning I was in this band. It was called Kings of Chaos. It was like it was a band. It was we'd go out and play these gigs like in South Africa or South America. It was Gibbons, and it was like Joe from Def Leppard. It was Glenn Hughes from Deep Purple, and I was the bass player. And Slash would play, and like all these, like it was like a super band, but we'd play songs from the art. So Gibbons, I learned the two-step shuffle. I had to be great at it.
Yeah.
Just playing with these guys, and I'm not gonna fucking half learn the song. I'm gonna learn it exactly. And Deep Purple gave me a chance, like shred in G minor. Like I know my neck in G minor right now because of all the Deep Purple I had to learn. And how great of a bass player Tom Hamilton from Aerosmith is.
Oh man, isn't he?
Jesus.
Yeah.
I wrote an email after this. I'm like, man, I'm sorry you don't get the props that you deserve.
Yeah, he's a total badass.
John Paul Jones and Tom Hamilton. I mean, you got Duck Dunn and you got those guys first, Jameson and whatever. But, Hamilton doesn't get the credit.
Yeah.
Those riffs wouldn't move.
No, and Hamilton, but a lot of people don't realize, like he co-wrote "Janie's Got a Gun." That was not a Tyler Joe Perry song. That was a Tom Hamilton song.
Should have got co-writes on all that stuff because those bass lines I didn't realize it. I know I'm a bass player, but didn't realize how much some of like Toys in the Attic, boom, just were like. Just a ton of stuff. I had to play as Aerosmith. So that was my first time of really like woodshedding. And I would go down to the basement, and my wife, like 6 and 8 hours, down there. And for 4 days, I learned all this stuff. Then I'd have like a mini concert for Susan.
Yeah.
She would come down and I'd play all this stuff. She goes, "You learned all that stuff?" She'd give me like this, "Okay, is it good?" Like, wow, and then I would go, finally the rehearsal would come, and I'd have all my fucking notes and all my stupid, So it got me into learning things. So Mike Dirnt, while I was doing that, he had learned Sir Duke. He got way out of his comfort zone. It's not Green Day material.
Yeah.
And he goes, it really like showed me a lot about the bass neck. So that was always in the back of my head. So I got back from Mexico City and learned Sir Duke. I learned Jackson 5 ABC.
Oh.
Is that ABC?
No. I Want You Back or ABC?
I said, I Want You Back.
Yeah.
It's great, and
you can't beat that shit, man. I mean, that era of, and you think back of the bass riffs of all that stuff. There's a deep well to learn from that.
yeah, so I'm going down that, and then I've on acoustic guitar. I think I've written about 14 songs in this time. So I get to do I love to do that stuff anyhow.
Yeah.
And so I'm doing
Yeah,
that.
Taylor rabbit hole last night.
What did you do?
I went down a James Taylor rabbit hole last night, just trying to finger pick, like listen and try to match the finger picking stuff, because he's such a, talk about underrated. I mean, James Taylor is, of course, no one would think of the word underrated with him, but he's an underrated guitarist. He's a really
I agree.
fine guitarist, and people don't talk about his guitar playing. So I was
How
nerding
did
out.
you learn how to play guitar, and like what was your? Did you take
I started as a piano player. I started as a piano player. And then when I was like 12, I wanted to play. It was the first song I ever learned how to play was Neil Young's Heart of Gold.
Okay.
And then I just sort of like became, and I never become, I'm still not, I'm a hack guitar player, but.
No, you're not.
I am, but I play electric a bit, but I've always been much more about it, playing acoustic and finger picking and having a real, if I'm proud of anything, it's that I have really good time and I have a good pocket, but it's just, again, it's like, what else are we gonna do? Like, I was like, last night I was like, oh, I want to learn this obscure James Taylor song on acoustic guitar, because why not?
Yeah. I mean, that's a positive thing to do.
Yeah.
It's a compliment, and we all have. If you don't play guitar, my wife's gonna do some master classes, and you know they have these things on YouTube. She's like, I'm gonna do like a home decoration master class or whatever the heck she's doing. You know,
there's language, there's drawing, there's there's so many things, really nice, mindful things. Yes, Betty Davis. Mindful things we can use this time to do. And I'm gonna let you go, but I've really loved the chat, and let's be in touch, not on here, but just like, let's just be in touch with each other.
Okay.
I'm gonna send you that stuff we talked about, and if you see good stuff, send it to me, okay?
Okay. Will do.
Stay healthy and take good care of your family.
Yeah. You too. Stay healthy. Say hi to your lady for me and for Susan.
We're way overdue for that dinner we keep threatening to have.
Well, wait, after post quarantine.
Oh yeah.
All right.
All right, buddy.
I don't know how to get out of here, so.
It's okay. I'll end it for us. I'm